Welcome to the Two Brothers from Two Mothers podcast and show. This is episode 6, Technolust. Whoa. I'm Alex.
I'm Kevin. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing great this evening, buddy. How are you?
I'm good. I'm excited.
Me too. This is a topic near and dear to our hearts.
Oh yeah, definitely. As close about as close as it can get.
Yeah, from building the first Pentium 2 to today, everything
Yep.
in between.
All right. Before we get started, you can contact us at twobrotherspod@gmail.com. Please send us your feedback, thoughts, comments,
Constructive
criticisms,
criticisms,
good and bad.
yep, etc. We want you all to be part of this family. We're all family together. And please feel free to reach out. And we welcome participation from anybody who wants to jump in.
Oh, definitely. Like we mentioned in the last episode, we're starting to think about eventually having a guest on pretty soon and trying to figure out, what we want as far as viewership is concerned. Like we don't want to have our first guest be on only have like freaking five or six, 10 views or whatever. So we're kind of hoping to get more people sharing our videos and getting the word out there. So when we do have somebody on, we can make it really impactful right out of the gate.
I agree. Again, we're just building this. And so obviously we know it takes time to build. And um, that's why the feedback is so important because we want to know what direction we should take, what you guys want to hear. This is, yes, us sharing our life story, but it's also uh, about you, you know?
Yeah, eventually it's going to turn into more than just what we want to talk about. It's going to be what other people want to hear and
Yep.
eventually hope to want to be on to further discuss themselves and morph into more than just our own personal wants to talk about.
I agree. I absolutely agree. And like I keep stressing to everybody, if you look at that logo up here in the corner, friends that became our chosen family. Well, you guys are all our friends, and we hope that you're part of our family as well. And so, it's about you guys. Hopefully after a topic, you can say, "Hey, I relate to that." And, I can relate to them. So that's what we're here for.
Most definitely. Um, let's see. You can also find us on Facebook at Two Brothers and Two Mothers. We know there's about 7 or 8 people who are part of the group. We thank you all,
Yes.
and please share it with everybody.
Yep. Get it
Let them
out
know the
there.
same thing that we mentioned. About things that people want to talk about that are near and dear to them that maybe people don't know about that's important to them and they want to get information out or just want to be able to talk about it and bring awareness to it.
Absolutely.
We're not talking
Absolutely.
about sports or video games and stuff like that. We're talking about like something big, deeply important, not just generic.
Right. You know, what I guess a question for the audience would be what would you want to bring to the light? What would you want to share of an experience that we haven't touched on that we can all learn from? Okay. That's
Oh
what it's
yeah,
about, right? We want people to learn from our trials and tribulations, our experiences. So, like they say, we do it so you don't have to.
yeah, yeah. It's been a great 5 episodes so far, and I'm ready to push out another banger.
Yep. This one's going to be a little geeky, but that's us.
Yeah, no hiding that.
Well,
The nerdism is going to have full
well,
tonight.
no hiding it. Yeah. Only thing that's missing is the freaking what do they call it? Pocket
Password
protector. Yeah.
pocket protector with the pens.
I'm a nerd, but I ain't that nerdy, and I don't apologize for that. But um, my technology history started in '91. I was using um, computers in school, getting used to because my my handwriting is it's
Yeah,
you're the only one that can decode it when I'm not there. Okay.
yeah. What's funny is I know a few people who are perfectly able-bodied, and their handwriting's like chicken scratch. And he's like, oh, I don't know if you could read it. I'm like, dude, I have seen 10 times worse.
You've been well trained, my son.
Oh yeah.
But no, but I started using technology, computers back then to use it as a tool, to do my
Right.
papers, an educational tool, if you will. Uh, um, but I started also dabbling in the motherboard, the layout. How does it work? Is it more just a uh, piece of plastic that when you hit a letter on a thing, it puts it up on a screen, you can spit it on a piece of paper? I started to get excited about that back then. And then came my Tandy 1000,
Nice.
had the 2400 baud modem. Imagine surfing Prodigy on that bad boy.
Mm,
You see the
good times,
screen.
right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was a much more simpler time. Although it's more broad today, definitely. But it was
There
a
we
much
go.
more simpler. It was fun. Then you go
Oh
to
yeah,
game.
let's see. The first computer we had was a Commodore 64.
Uh huh.
Oh, I think it was a beast of a machine.
People are building, what today, modern units with the same chips and stuff, so you could use them again.
Nice. I'll
Yeah.
never forget. Like, I used to have the magazine that came with it,
Mm-hmm.
and it always had a game you could program in the back of the magazine every month or whatever it was. And then my brother and I would spend days, countless hours trying to program something, and we would either hit it perfectly right off the bat, or because we tried to like be silly and be like 60 instead of saying 6D,
Ah,
or we'd say 60 and meant 60, but we'd say 6D and 60 instead. Like we weren't really specific. So like, haha, I'm gonna screw around, and all of a sudden get to the end, it's like, nope.
right.
You have to
That's
go
very.
through every single line of code again.
That's why I don't program.
Oh,
Yep.
so fun though.
It is. It is. Like I said, you can get a. They got modern Commodores now these days. If you
Yeah.
want
The
to
other
look
thing
at
that
it.
was cool too about it was the dot matrix printers. And I remember, I forgot, I forget the specifics, but we went to some store and they had this like, I don't know, like an AutoCAD or some kind of like drawing program for it.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, the dog is like being playful right now, and we saw it in the store, and like, I don't know if it was my brother or me or maybe both of us were like complaining about wanting it. My, no, we're not gonna get it. Calm down, calm down. Unknown to us, my parents had somehow gotten it like right under our eyes, and we didn't even know about it.
I remember those. Now you could just go pull it up and
Yep. But I remember like the games on them, obviously being what 8-bit or whatever it was, or 4-bit.
8-bit.
Yeah. Hey, stop. Go to sleep. But the haunted house game on there, the freaking
Uh,
winter and summer Olympic games that were on there. The other cool thing that was awesome about it too was the joysticks were interchangeable with the Atari.
yeah, it was the same pinout. Yep,
Yeah, the
exactly.
pins are the same, and it was freaking. Speaking of that, I put that up there. It was freaking awesome though, like being able to, which we'll call it, the joystick for each machine.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Never had a Commodore myself, but I did have an Atari.
It did have networking, I think the Commodore did.
Yeah, I think if I remember in my history, it had an attachment cartridge you'd be able to put in and get on a network with it. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't imagine how expensive it was back then.
Now it's part and parcel. Plug in your Ethernet cable and away you
Dude,
go.
now it's standard. But yeah, the Atari, that was an amazing machine too.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
remember reading an article about the Atari and how hard it was to actually like code games for.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember in the article somewhere it said something about how uh, stop, go to sleep, you ding dong. Um, it says something about the Divine in Pitfall was the same coding or programming as I want to say the Asteroid and Asteroids, I think.
Hmm.
And all they did was basically straighten it out.
That's interesting.
And if I
Very
also
interesting.
remember correctly, for the Atari, they were only allowed to have either 4 or 6 actual physical objects on the screen.
So what we would term sprite? Were they sprites?
Sprites, yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, like a game like Pitfall, but was so. Stop. Sorry, guys. The dog is just
Don't
oddly rambunctious tonight.
don't get some leg,
Um,
okay?
he's got this obsession with biting his. Stop. Oh my god. One track mind.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. She's the same way.
Freaking obsession with this thing. Yeah, you can't bite it now, can you? Um. Anyways, if I remember correctly in this article I saw, it mentioned.
Look at it. That's the star of the show right now, guys.
Dude.
Hey boy,
I think he heard you.
are you a good boy?
No, he's getting off the couch to look behind a pillow for his harness. Oh my god. Yeah, he just fell off.
He knows where it is, cowboy.
Get up here, go to sleep. Anyways, from what I remember in the article, they said Pitfall was like one of the hardest games that they made to make because you're only allowed like either I think it was 4 objects, sprites, whatever you want to call it at the time,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
on the screen. So you had the character, then you had the water, the vine. Sometimes you'd have the scorpion in the bottom,
Right.
and then you had the background.
Mm.
And I forget the details of how they got it all on there, but I think all the background stuff was like one picture
Right.
to count for one object, and somehow they, the water, the vine, the alligator, and a crocodile that would pop up somehow like I forgot how they did that. I wish I had looked it up before we started, but it's really like a good, you know, a master class in what they were able to do with that game
Yeah, yeah. Something looks so simple, yet.
because of what they were restricted to do with it.
Mm-hmm. I know the NES, from what I heard, was also a pain in the ass to program for it too.
Yeah, that's what I've heard too. But yeah, what they pulled off with it, with Pitfall in particular, pretty impressive.
Hmm. Yeah. That limited amount of memory and processing speed. Yeah. The SNES was like that too, if I remember correctly, as well. Do you know that thing only ran at like 3 megahertz, dude?
Really?
Yeah. It's amazing.
That's only like 30 years ago.
And if the Star Fox, the 3D games with the Super FX chip,
Yeah,
that actually gave it more processing and memory capability through the cartridge, which is pretty cool. That's how they pulled it off.
nice. And I got the freaking junkyard people next door freaking driving their freaking truck.
Oh, geez.
Oh my god, man, it's freaking annoying, dude. It's freaking what? 1:30 in the morning here. What time is it?
Yeah, 10:30 here.
Yeah, 1:30 in the morning right now. Freaking. Ugh.
Hmm. Ugh.
But
Yeah.
yeah, what they were able to pull off with the Atari and the Commodore. It's just crazy.
Well, it's history, right? It's part of what makes the technology. We take it for granted today. You pick up this slab of glass, okay? This slab of glass, and you got the world at your fingertips. You don't even
Yeah.
think about how it works. But what, and I'm jumping forward to now, but what Apple can do with their own silicon is absolutely amazing.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Here, lay down.
You
But
know,
yeah, geez, Atari. I think their biggest mistake was pushing out that what the heck was it, the Jaguar
yeah.
to compete with I want to say Super Nintendo at the time.
Was that the 32-bit system or 16?
I think it was a 32-bit system, but it cost like $800.
I remember that. The Neo Geo was also an expensive one.
Yeah, yeah. It's like it was so cool too because like, okay, awesome, Atari's coming back. This is gonna be great. You look at the price. Yeah.
At that
What are
time,
you what are you doing?
there's no way you could have unseated Nintendo. Nintendo was just
No,
too big
that's
of a
not the point
brand.
though. I mean, if any company is in business to try and shut another one down, you gotta be careful what you're doing.
Oh yeah,
It's not sustainable. It's not like you and I started this show together with the goal of, we're gonna be better than everybody else, and
that's not it at
it's not
all.
gonna happen. It's never gonna happen.
No,
If it does, that's cool.
that's
It's not
that's
the
what I
goal.
call bonus, right? I would say the term bonus. It's a bonus. Well, that's not our goal. Our goal is to just build a family, build a community, and
Yep.
learn from each other. At the end of the day, that's what it's about. But
Yeah, but you think
um,
about how many people, you know, throughout both our lives. Oh, I'm gonna start a business. I'm gonna put so and so out of business. It's like, really?
it's good to aim high, but you got to start at the foundation first.
Right, but what are the odds?
Slim to none.
You wanna develop your own car and design your own vehicle. If your goal right out of the gate is to take down Toyota or Chevy or Ford, come on, they're over 100 years old.
Right, they're more established. You got to build
You
your
really
established.
th- you really think you can be some upstart business and take somebody out? No,
No,
that cannot be your that cannot be. in your top 15 priority of what you want to do.
Well, let's take Tesla as an example, prime example, right? They came in, but they're serving a underdeveloped part of the market, which is electric vehicles.
Right, and
Whatever,
that's different.
whatever your opinion of it is, they're serving a underdeveloped market. They're establishing the market for an electric vehicle. They're not competing with GM and Ford. Quite the contrary, GM and Ford have to compete with them,
Right.
and they are. So you're seeing technology advanced in that way. But in order to see technology advance, you need to have a catalyst. And the
Right. If you can find a niche in the
yes,
market somewhere, you still can't make your priority to be take out whoever.
right.
It's not feasible.
It's like let's look at the example again. Apple Silicon. They're not here to take out Intel or AMD. They just want to
No, but
stay
if they can create, if they can develop, manufacture, and build something on their own in house and apply it to their own devices, why the hell wouldn't you?
right. People say, well, it's a walled garden. You get, yeah, that's true. I'm not disputing that fact. You lose that element of customizability, in some cases, expandability. But you know what? The rule still applies that I've always taught you um, buy more than you can afford.
Right.
If
Now, with
like,
that being said, what are the advantages of being able to say we built our own chip? We don't need to worry about Intel.
right,
Now we don't have to worry about an outside problem.
you're not beholden to supply constraints or paying for licensing, or you're doing your own. You have your own standards. You got your own process, which come to find out, I mean, I'm running on my iMac now using a i5 processor. It's a great chip. Don't get me wrong, powerful. But as I told you, I think prior to last show, I'm getting a new Mac Studio in a few months.
Right.
Um, the beautiful thing of that chip, the Ultra, not the Max, but the Ultra variant, which I'm going to be getting, it's got two Max chips bonded together at full bandwidth. Okay.
Jeez.
So you get 128 gigs of unified RAM, 64 cores of GPU, 20 cores of CPU, I think, and all this other stuff. And it only uses at max power 300 watts.
Right. Now, will they be able to do the same thing with an i5?
No. An i5's TDP probably would be around 400 watts on the chip itself. Now you factor in another 300 for the GPU, factor in the SSD speed, factor all that in, and you're talking maybe 600 watts.
Right. And in that case, in that instance, uh, proprietary, like you said, it walls it off, but how
Yeah.
much more you can do with it?
Well, that's this. Like I told you, buy more than you need because now some people have budgetary constraints. I understand that, and so you probably will have to upgrade the computer in 3 to 4 years. If you're prepared for that, that's fine. But I always tell everybody, buy more than you need because it's going to last you longer to spend an extra 500 or 1,000 now. Will
Right.
save you from spending another 4 or 5,000 2 years later when it could run you 10 years.
Right.
And that's exactly what I'm going to do. Now I have a NAS for external storage. Not worried about it. It's not an issue. Just dump it on there. I got 50, 60 terabytes of storage. I don't need to have a lot on my data drive. That's
Right.
exactly how I use my computer now. Just go about it a different way.
Yeah. So, no, the Atari, amazing, great company from what I heard, but
Yep. At the
they
beginning,
pushed that
yeah.
Jaguar out. Jeez.
I remember their handheld unit. Remember that handheld?
Oh yeah, I don't remember what it's called, but yeah, I remember it. Dude, what is wrong with you tonight? Say hi. Here, no, no. Look here. Say hi.
Hi, baby boy.
Here. There. Say hi.
Oh, look at you. Oh, wow. Hi, baby
Yeah,
boy.
there you go. There. Now relax. Very rambunctious tonight. But yeah, so then what? 84, 85, Nintendo came along and talk about a game changer, huh?
Oh, no pun intended. Jesus.
I mean, the literal game changer is just
And you know what? Aesthetically, it was just this gray box.
simple, effective.
Yeah. I was never one to completely, you know me, to
Yeah,
completely finish a game, right? I would start, stop, wait, get stuck, start, stop again. But that was my version of fun. Spend
yeah.
half
I
an
mean,
hour.
it's whatever.
Yeah.
But I just can't believe what Nintendo did. Super Mario Brothers, Adventure Zelda.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez, talk about two games that just about just about every single person in the first world parts of the country know.
Yeah. And now with the Switch, you can play them again,
Yep,
which is cool. I would love for them to bring Tetris, the original Tetris.
I
Uh,
know they got that Tetris effect on the Xbox, but
it's not the same.
man, if you suffer from seizures or the flashing lights bother you, forget it. 'Cause it is like super flashy, jumpy, not jumpy, but it's definitely a seizure inducing game
Mm. I
if
know.
you're
I just miss
easily susceptible to it.
simple, no lag. The first Tetris, the original,
Yeah.
just worked.
Well, that was the beauty of the games back then was there's obviously there's no online component, so it had to work.
Yep.
It had to.
Very rarely did you see glitches in games, and if they were either Easter eggs tucked in or it was literally a glitch that you're gonna exploit.
Yeah, there was there's goofy stuff that you could do like in one level of the first Super Mario Brothers game, you could trap a green turtle shell like the steps at the bottom of the steps before the end of a level, and if you jump right, you could build your score up and start getting extra lives
Oh, excuse me,
infinitely.
guys. That cocktail kicked in a little bit early.
So there was there was that, but was that really a glitch or was that just something somebody figured out by being able to essentially trap the
I,
turtle shell? I
I
wouldn't call
could
that a glitch because anybody could do it.
right. I could say it was a hidden hack. Right. It's there. It's probably put in there by the programmers for you to use it. You just got to figure it out.
Dude, what's wrong with you tonight? Yeah, yeah. I remember. Like, I also go on YouTube once in a while and see, watch videos of those older games and
Mm-hmm.
the, the hit markers and the hit boxes. You can sit there and watch Mario's head like morph through the 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 flying cloud and crap like that. It's like he should be dead, but that's it was how it was programmed. It was
Yep.
literal hit and miss.
Yep. And it was done in assembly too. It was quite interesting to me. There was no language. It's all machine code.
Right.
But
And I remember, let's see, was it the Super Nintendo that was supposed to merge with PlayStation
yes,
originally? Yeah,
yep,
I
it came
remember
out with
the early talks of that.
they were coming out with. They actually developed it a hybrid, like it was the Nintendo PlayStation.
The Nintendo PlayStation. I
That's
remember
exactly what.
Sony wanted to get into the gaming business, but they didn't want to. I don't know if it was the hardware they didn't want to do or the software or something, but I know the big thing.
It was the licensing, if I remember correctly.
I think it was licensing, but I know I remember the biggest factor between the two of them splitting off the deal was Nintendo wanted to stick with cartridges, Sony wanted to go with CDs and
And
compact disc.
looking back upon it as a game enthusiast, what 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 would you feel was what would be the right call at the time?
At the time, let's see, this is what, 90,
4 or 5, I think. 3.
93, 92, 94? When it was being discussed at the time, I would say the cartridge was proven.
But
What was the
limited.
failure rate on cartridge? Very limited. The failure rate on the hardware of the cartridge is probably minimal from what I
Aside from
remember.
aside from giving him an occasional blowjob,
Oh yeah, the old Nintendo. When that didn't work, you would go. Which I do remember, I think, reading somewhere that someone proved that was actually completely ineffective.
but it worked.
But, all superstitions worked,
Yep.
so why not? But, yeah, I think Nintendo's fear with the CD was, at the time, I don't want to call it flimsy, but it wasn't as reliable is not the right word. As far as a physical media is concerned, it was more susceptible to damage,
Well,
scratches,
scratches,
breaking,
fingerprints.
fingerprints, scuffing.
Yeah, I mean
And, once the disc gets scratched back then, what were you going to do? You're not going to be able to fix it back then.
well, we know how now using toothpaste and car wax. But
Yeah, now we know that. But back then it was, okay, so if you get scratched in this thing, then what?
see, for me now, I love the what we do now. Just dump them on a hard drive, pull
Just
them up when
dump
you
it.
want. Because for me to
Right,
get
but
up,
back then, when you look at the two mediums, the cartridge and the CD disc, in a way, I don't blame Nintendo. You look at that,
no,
okay, people are clumsy.
yeah,
Kids are going to play it. Discs are going to break. They're going to snap. Kids are going to throw them, scratch them. Feed them to the dog, whatever. When you look at the cartridge, okay, so if the surface of the cartridge gets scratched, what do? You ruin some of the paintwork on the sticker
right. The contacts,
with
the
the
chip.
contacts being inside the cartridge. It was technically, it was technically harder to ruin it. So I don't blame them for wanting to stick with it.
Right.
Did it limit what they wanted to do? Yeah, big time. Did they suffer for it? No. They own the handheld market. Who's
Right.
touching that?
Nobody, even now.
Dude, Sony tried. Never even came close.
Yeah, I got the Vita.
I had the Vita, I had the PlayStation Portable, or PSP, whatever it was called. They were good.
Oh, they,
They weren't Game Boy.
you know what? I
They
used
weren't
to get them.
3DS.
I used to get them just to hack them.
Yeah, they were good, but
Jailbreak.
they weren't Nintendo
No,
in
and
the handheld market.
my biggest criticism, as you know, of the PlayStation product is not the console. I think they're wonderful. Sony's expertise in the video realm is second to none as far as displays and
Oh yeah.
execution. However, the controller, the hand feel, I can't do it.
At the time, there's no option. So if you wanted it, you had to deal with it.
Right.
Now the size, I'm still not a fan of how big the controller is.
Mm,
Yeah, I'm still not a fan of the thumbsticks being symmetrical
right.
and not into, not in a what to me is a ergonomic position.
Right.
But like I said at the time, you had no choice.
Right.
If you wanted it, that's what you only had to deal with.
And
And you adapted, you got used to it, and you dealt with it.
yeah,
I remember the Nintendo 64 controller was,
that thing looked,
that was slick.
it was slick, but it was also for me, it was difficult.
And yeah. I mean, it was the position and stuff was laid out better. But Sony really took it. Not even Sega Genesis. I don't even add on. Didn't even think they add them onto the tickers or whatever. I'm not going to, but no, even like the Sega Genesis. What a powerhouse machine that was.
Hmm. I remember that. Used to play that a
I think.
lot. I still gravitated back to Nintendo though. Still did.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think a lot of people did. But I remember when. Oh God, I'm gonna mess this up. Was it the Sega Dreamcast?
That was a
That was
neat,
ahead of its time.
way ahead of its time.
Yeah, that's the one. That was the one that was so far ahead of its time. It ended up like killing the hardware part of Sega.
Hmm.
What a shame.
Yeah. I mean, it
And
had
I remember one commercial they had for Sega that said, "We do." I think we do what Nintendo don't.
that was Sega. Yeah.
That was Sega. Yeah, that's sad. Like I think I remember
I
that
I re-
commercial
I
going.
remember that explicitly myself.
We do we do what Nintendo, and it's like wow, like they
Yeah.
were really hard in the aggressive anti Nintendo marketing, which I found funny.
It was funny, and truthfully, their technology was graphically, the Genesis was better than the NES, and even
Oh
in
yeah, again because they went right out of the gate. They went with the CD,
16-bit platform.
right? I mean,
But
Nintendo
they
had the 16-bit platform on the cartridges, but the CD just gave it more
depth.
space.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Dreamcast. What a shame. What could have been with that thing?
Yeah. I mean, it had built-in networking and everything. I mean, built in. Yeah, it was a
Yep.
modem, but you still had it.
Right.
Nobody had it at
And
the
it's
time.
funny you bring up built-in networking because that brings us to the early 2000s.
Yes, the sex box.
Good old Microsoft and the Xbox.
Man, I tell you, that system opened up a whole new avenue for me as far as control. That controller was huge, but it felt
That
so
thing was a
easy.
monster.
It felt so comfortable in my hands. I can actually enjoy myself.
Yeah, I remember. Jeez, I remember like when they first announced it, and everyone's like, "Come on, Microsoft's gonna get into the console business," and it's
With-
like, what are you gonna do different, dude? I'll tell you what, man. You get a chance, watch the I forgot what the heck. There's like a 4 or 5 part series about the
Mhm.
birth of the Xbox and how they basically is designed to. It was based off the what the heck was it, DirectX at the time. They wanted to showcase DirectX
Right, which was their
4,
extensions.
5, or 6, whatever it
Yeah,
was.
their multimedia extensions, yeah.
And that DirectX team went and stole the kernel to Windows NT.
Yep,
Stole
that's
it. They physically had to break into the servers and steal the actual server with the coding on it.
wow.
and stripped it down to like the absolute bare basics. Because the higher up executives at Xbox were like, no, this isn't gonna work. We're gonna go with shoot, they were gonna go with something else, and
Something
I guess
DOS
they ended
based?
up no, it wasn't DOS based. It was something else for the OS or something. So
Hmm.
basically, what happened ended up happening was I want to say Bill Gates or what's the other guy there, Steve Ballmer.
Steve Ballmer, yeah.
Yeah, they basically took the two teams that were pitted against each other, either intentionally or not, whatever the case was, and they were basically like thrown into a Mortal Kombat type situation. You got Bill Gates sitting in the background, like,
Hmm.
okay, guys, show me what you got.
Hmm.
And the Xbox team, the other guys did their presentation, blah 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 blah, yada yada yada. They had no hardware. The Xbox team's like, well, let me show you what we got. They built their prototype, they brought it, they turned it on, and that's what basically sold Bill Gates on the design of what they did.
Hmm.
And the other team was looking at Bill and basically said, "This isn't fair. We didn't know they were going to do this." He goes, "Well, it's not my fault. I didn't tell you not to." But yeah, they basically had to like steal the freaking Nintendo NT kernel or the Windows NT kernel.
It was a damn good choice because yeah. What was it? What was our favorite OS?
XP 2000
2000.
and then XP.
2000 with the German key.
Hmm.
Yep.
But I remember, watching that series they're talking about Halo and like how bad a shape the game was in.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, it was horrible, but they fixed it up, and you know, history writes itself. It took off, and
Yeah. That was, I would say, my first modern. I mean, I jumped from the SNES right to the Xbox. I didn't even go. I mean, I remember trying the PlayStation at your house, and I'm like, I can't do this.
right, yeah, and that was what PlayStation 1, right?
Yeah. I
Yeah,
remember. Yeah, I remember in that little back room there in the corner, you had the TV.
yep, yeah. So you get the 360, which was, sheesh.
And then all the taking them apart and
Oh, the modding, yeah, that was
yeah,
fun.
yeah, it was fun. And
But it was amazing. Like they came out a year before PlayStation came out with the three,
I,
and I
I had
think
bought,
they're
I did have the PS3. I got rid of it. It was it was a solid piece of hardware, but I just
right. But when you look at the price they released at $600, they got so arrogant off of the sales of the PlayStation 2.
yeah,
They actually thought people would just flock over for 600, and Microsoft released a 360 a year before, and I think they were only selling it for what, 300 or 400 bucks
right.
on release. And for years, they freaking had like a 2-to-1 lead in console sales. Every game was like built around the 360 and then ported over to PlayStation 3 because
Weren't they using the same processors?
no, PlayStation 3 is using some cell. I don't know, it was a proprietary cell architecture, but
It was Power
it
PC,
was
if I'm not mistaken. Yeah,
it was cell based or something. It was something,
right.
not Intel or AMD or whatever, but it just made it so much harder to program for developers, and
Yep.
that's why they ported it over instead of developing it for the
Mm,
PlayStation first and then porting
natively.
it over to 360. Yeah,
Yep. It's basically copy and paste the code. The compiler will get it, and that's it. But yeah, oh yeah. But I still gravitate, much like the Nintendo, to the Microsoft product just because of the controller. Period. Yeah.
yep.
fits in the hand nice. It's comfortable for me to hold on to for a good hour. I don't got hand cramps. When you have a dexterity issue, that matters. Some people might think, "Oh, that's inconsequential." That not for me, not for a lot of people.
They spent so much money on controller design.
That's the tactile experience, right? So you got to get it right.
Right, because you're going to be holding on that thing for, for some people, hours on end.
Hmm.
But I remember, like, they basically looked at the PlayStation controller and said, "Yeah, come up with something better."
Yeah,
And this with the two thumbsticks that were right next to each other was painful on the hand. So basically, what they did was they took a 3D mold or like 3D mold stuff, and they just put a controller in someone's hand and got the ergonomic thingamajabber. And it's like, wait a minute, the thumbs aren't here and here. It's more like this.
right. It just feels natural.
And to hold that controller and the thumbsticks where they were, it's like, holy
Yep.
God.
And that was an epiphany for me.
Yeah.
Again, something so simple that people take for granted makes a world of difference. I always tell
Yep.
people in life, it's not the big things that matter. It's the littlest, most insignificant speck of dust or a fart or whatever that makes the biggest difference for someone.
Yeah. And then let's see, fast forward to 2013 and the Xbox debacle. Same exact thing. They didn't learn a thing. They had their most popular console, the 360. At the time, the PlayStation 3 was overtaking it in sales finally and coming out with better games
Hmm. Hmm.
that were exclusive to it, but it's whatever.
Right.
And then they had that whole the debacle.
There was the DRM, the online.
Yep, the
Yeah.
reveal in May. TV, 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 TV. Oh, look, we can do this with TV. We can do that with TV. Oh, you can do this with the Connect and this and that and this and this. Like, where are the games?
It's almost like they got flat.
They've had this. They had the obsession with taking over the
The
living
media
room
center,
in the media
right?
center. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
that was their first attempt at it. But then they tried doing it with the Xbox One, and also forcing the damn Connect on people, which I don't want to bash it because it made life so much easier.
We had many a Skype call through that thing.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And in some respects, it made the gaming part of life easier. If you're in another room, you can say, "Hey, Xbox, turn on." You're busy doing something. You can turn it on with a voice command. It was on.
Right. The time to sit down, ready to go, boot it up.
Yeah, but the fact that Microsoft, in their arrogance, baked so much Connect the reliant software into it. They had their game, the E3 show that June, and they showed the games like finally games. Oh, connect, 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 connect. Like, oh my God,
Well, of course they're
we get
gonna.
it. We get it. You did all that crap in the first, last month.
Well, it's like the great Gordon Ramsay said. You want pumpkin? I'm gonna ram it up your
Yeah,
ass sideways.
they ran it down there, but they had the DRM, the 24-hour check-in,
Mm-hmm.
the always online. I'll never forget how many people all of a sudden had internet connection issues. Oh, they gotta check in every 24 hours. This is a bunch of crap. What if my internet goes out? How many times has your internet gone out?
Right.
But all of a sudden, it was a huge, every single day occurrence that people's internet's automatically going out all of a sudden. It's like I can count on my one hand how many times I've lost internet in the past
He-
5 years.
Here's the thing. I get it. It's not a perfect science. Okay. You're depending on servers far, far away through many interlinks. It can happen. It does on a daily basis. It can reroute
Right,
itself.
and I get what people's problems were, maybe not so much their own internet, but if the Xbox server goes down and it's more than 24 hours, you're locked out of your game
Yeah, I don't agree
because
with
they
that.
wanted you to check in, which was a bunch of crap.
Yeah, it is.
And then you have idiot Don Matrick, who was asked after the E3 show, well, what about the people that don't have the internet? Well, we have a perfectly good, viable solution for you. It's called the Xbox 360. Wah, 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 wah.
Hmm.
Dude, you are releasing a brand new console in 5 months. And you're and you're telling people who don't have an internet connection to go buy a 360? Get the hell out of here.
Now, this was the Xbox One,
Yeah, 2013.
correct? I overstepped that one. I got the One X.
Yeah, a lot of people overstepped that one. But yeah, that idiot got fired in July that year, and Phil Spencer took over, and they basically had to like redo the whole damn OS
Mm,
because they removed the DRM, the 24-hour check-in, the requirement that every single game had to be installed on a 500 gig hard drive. Like, come on, man! Some of these games are already 200 gig.
I know.
I mean, what do you? Whatever.
Dude, you know what? When you're here, we're going to download a game at a
Mm.
gigabit and see how fast that baby goes.
Man, this poor dog tonight. What is wrong with you, dude? But
He's the
yeah.
star of the
So
show.
he basically, yeah, he's taking it over. He basically had to have the software people go in and rebake the whole freaking operating system,
Sure. Which
and the the patch that people had to download that first day before they could even play. It's supposed to take like anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes. Ended up taking like a half hour, 45, because there's so many people
congesting the server.
downloading it. Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
remember when I got home with it that night, it took me like an hour and a half to download. I
Mm-hmm.
think I played for like 15 minutes that night and then went to bed.
Mm.
But it's just, the arrogance.
I know. You get too big for
Oh,
your.
you're not gonna be able to play used games. You're not gonna be able to do this. You're not gonna be able to do that. Like, what do you mean not be able to play used games on it? Are you kidding me?
Why can't there be a thing when the store, when they check it in back, take it in, hit the server and say this game has been returned,
Right.
and then open it up and then unlock it for the next person to use it? It's not that difficult to do.
No, and I remember PlayStation right after all that debacle happened. They came out with an advertisement. Here's how you share a game on PlayStation. Roop, hands the other guy a disc. Here you go. Thank you. It's like, wow, you're just getting slaughtered.
Hmm.
And they did. They got slaughtered in sales big time, and they deserved it.
Hmm.
Fast forward, what, 4 years to the Xbox One X?
Yeah,
They turned it around.
it's a wonderful piece of hardware.
Yeah. What they did with it and the size, no power brick on the outside. They got that built on the inside,
Yeah.
and it
And
doesn't
to be,
overheat that often. It's
yeah, I
amazing.
got it sitting back there in a box. I bring it over to Carrie's place, plug it in, and go. It's not a portable, but it's not ultra cumbersome either to carry with you.
Right. And now you look at the Series X, and we're up to solid state hard drive or solid state drives and
You know what I
almost
find?
silence.
Yeah, what I find cool, what they did with that Seagate expansion. right on the direct bus.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Wow.
If you think about that with the Apple Silicon, that's what basically Apple, the storage is on the chip. Okay. So when you order it, you got to specify the amount of RAM you want and the amount of storage because it's put in on the silicon itself. You can't get any faster than that.
That's crazy.
The throughput, now there are some instances that are slightly faster, but 800 gigabytes per second, not gigabits, gigabytes,
Bites. Mm-hmm.
almost a terabyte. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. It is. And for a lot less power than what we're using now in these current machines, yeah, I'll get one. I'm already entrenched in the Mac ecosystem. Might as well.
Yeah,
I'm
at
not
this
going to lose
point.
any compatibility. They got the Rosetta layer. If I want to run an x86 program, it's a little bit slower, but it's just as quick as it is now.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember it's like the back to the computer thing. I remember the first time I had even realized that building a computer by yourself was possible was my brother's friend in the Navy did it.
Hmm.
He's like, "Yeah, I got a friend that builds computers." And how's he? I thought thought of building them as doing the whole motherboard circuit and so
Right.
basically building every single piece by hand
Yeah.
and putting it all together, not just not installing the hardware and connecting it and all that.
Right.
But that was my first foray into it and
Right.
intrigued the hell out of me.
Mm.
And speaking of Mr. would be the one that really ignited the passion.
Oh yeah. Remember those computer shopper books,
Yeah, yeah.
big ass catalogs? Yeah, yeah.
What was
All the
that
parts.
website? Price Watch?
Price Watch is it's still
Where we got all this
around.
stuff from?
Yep.
It's great.
Oh yeah, I remember those days.
So cheap at the time too. Remember how cheap it was?
Well, for the same horsepower, would it cost us what 5-6 grand to get it done? On a mainstream builder. Did it ourselves for like 1,000.
Yeah, I remember. I remember there was one night I think you were. It was one of our houses we were at. I remember like we went on Dell's website and we got like we maxed out everything.
Yep.
And it was what was it like $4,000 or $5,000,
Yep.
and then we went on the Price Watch website and it ended up being 1,000.
Yeah. You know, but those are the days. These days now it's doesn't pay to go through all that hassle.
No,
Especially with that high level of integration. Nah.
as far as like even building and maintaining, it's just, jeez, the hassle became, at the end for me, the hassle became was I remember I had just purchased, I think it was more RAM and upgraded the processor. And I had bought a Medal of Honor
Then
game for it.
you needed the video card for that. I remember you needed a new video card for
Installed
the
it.
plate. Yep.
I look at the requirements. I'm like, okay, I meet this isn't, but the bare minimum for the video card. I'm like, well, I have enough of everything else. It should be good. Nope. Stuttered, stammered, froze. Oh my god.
Yeah, and
And
that's
I
why
sat on that game for like 6 months, bought a new video card, played it, and it was like, it's just not worth it. I could buy, I can play a game on a console. I ain't gotta worry about it.
for me, I, I see the appeal of PC gaming. I really do. Getting frame rates in the 200-300s.
Right.
400s with the new hardware. I get it, and I see how it's benchmarked. But for me, from a physical feel, I can't do keyboard and mouse. I just can't.
Yeah, it's different. I can do it. It's just I don't can't deal with the hassle of
Constantly upgrading, changing.
constantly wondering if I got enough RAM, a good enough video card, a good enough sound card. Is there enough processing power? Not worth the hassle.
No, it's definitely not. Um, but the thing for me is, like I always tell everybody, computer is a tool. It's a very useful tool. When you have a mobility impairment, especially, you can see the world sitting right here.
Yeah.
And so just the most exciting thing, especially back then in the 90s, when we got Roadrunner installed, you could go click and
Oh yeah, yeah. It was.
these days you take it for granted. You click and you're gone. But
Yep.
it is a beneficial tool. That's all it is. It's not an obsession. It's not this. Oh, you're a Mac guy. You're this. Yeah, I switched. You know why? I got sick and tired of formatting once a year because of a freaking virus
Oh my god, how many times you'd have to format
or defrag or maintain.
or defrag every.
It just maintains itself. Now, granted, Windows does the same thing these days, which is great. You know, don't
But
got
how
to
long
baby
it took them?
a lot longer than OS 10. I'll tell you that.
Right.
And I had my Mac Pro last me 13 years. Never had a problem with it. It just runs and runs. And I said, you know what? I'm done. I'm done. And
I don't blame you.
I know they're more expensive than a PC.
Right, but the
They
qual, the ease,
the integration.
the integration, everything just works.
They control the drivers. They control the thing. Yes, it's a walled garden. I know that. To all you guys out there, I know you could add your own card in. I know you can expand your storage. Oh, you know what? I got the NAS for that.
Right, and for people who don't want to have to deal with that, nothing wrong with it.
No, it just, for me now, I just want to turn it on and know it's going
And
to work.
go, yep,
No more missing boot sectors. No more waking up one morning and it doesn't boot. And I
your
have to
hard drive's corrupted or
have to fix it
sectors are gone,
half
things
awake.
are just so fragmented or out of wonk that the only way you
Yeah,
can fix it is to zero out a hard drive and install everything and spend, at the time, what, 2, 3, 4 weeks getting it back to normal again.
just exactly how it was. And it's like, nah, I don't want to be bothered anymore. Yeah, I miss it. I miss the intricacy of learning about how the systems function. Don't get me wrong. I know that knowledge well, but I just don't
Come
want to
here.
be bothered anymore.
Yeah, I mean, how many times would something happen where you and I would spend all day either over the phone or together to trying to fix it, and it's like, oh, there's only one way to repair it.
Give it the good
Six
old
o'clock on a Sunday evening, it's like, oh, good old format. It's like, oh, I know what I'll be doing for the next. I know what I'll be doing for the next 4 weeks.
yep, back up and restore or wipe and restore.
I mean, it got to the point for both of us at one time. It was like we both had our own, recovery CD. We would put all the stuff on there.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of re-downloading it, we could just reinstall it.
Just dump it on and go. Yeah. Whereas again, I just got sick and tired of it. Just got sick
Oh
and
yeah,
tired
no
of it.
doubt.
And when I switched, I had a learning curve, of course. Then I got the iPhone. Then I got the iMessage integration. And I go, that's a big benefit.
Right.
Not having to bend over, look at my phone, and I get a message. It's right there on my screen. Yeah.
Yep.
Uh,
And now even getting a message on the phone isn't that big of an inconvenience because you got the audio messages.
right.
And it's amazing when you really sit there and think about how much today's iPhone, Android, whatever has replaced.
Yes.
I mean,
But
I'm not talking about just computer or a house phone, computer, house phone, television,
calendar.
answering machine, calendar, clock, calculator. That's seven off the top of my head.
Right.
Notepads,
Contact list, Rolodex.
contact us, a Rolodex, a phone book. Think
Yeah.
about every single piece of, forget technology. Forget every single item this, is replaced in the literal palm of your hand.
However, I still love to experience web pages and such on a computer. Can't do it on a phone.
Right.
Can't do it.
And then you think about, what's it cost? Not the price, the social aspect of it.
Right. Right. I'm not the person where you'll see me like this. Hey man, how you doing? Uh-huh. Oh yeah.
Right.
Uh-huh. No. I'm talking to you. I'm going to talk to you. This can wait.
Oh yeah, no doubt. It's it's crazy.
I mean, call me old school, whatever, but we're still humans. That's just a piece of glass at the end of the day with silicon in it.
Sadly, there's more people that worship that thing.
I enjoy using it. It's a joy to use. Don't get me wrong. Makes life easy
Yeah,
for
I mean,
me.
there's an escape factor to it too,
Yes. And that's what
for
some
a
people
while,
fail to realize. Yes. You can go
and
off
it's
into,
fine. But the cost, the price it comes with, which I'm occasionally guilty of, sucks.
aren't we all though? I was too at
Oh
the
yeah,
beginning, right? Oh, it's so
relax.
new. It's exciting. It feels great. And oh, yeah. But at the end of the day, it's another useful tool.
Right,
Okay. And if you don't know how to compartmentalize that, people see me, oh, you're sitting at the computer all day. Yeah, but I'm learning. Okay.
right,
I'm using it to expand my knowledge base to not just sit and fire around. Yeah, I'll watch my fire videos.
of
I'll laugh.
course.
It's healthy to laugh, but that
Oh yeah,
doesn't mean um I won't talk to anybody or I got my head always down in the sand. No, no.
I mean, think about it. What am I using right now to record the show on? My phone.
Yeah. And I'm in front of my computer, but regardless of the point. But it's
Right,
just like you're here and I'm there.
but and that just goes to the the awe factor of like we've already mentioned a few times so far, being able to do the show with the literal click of a couple buttons on a screen
Yep. Across the country nonetheless.
across the country.
Yeah. Huh. I know it's exciting.
It's
It, re-
it is.
re-
It's always exciting.
it's fascinating that my image and voice is being transmitted as a bunch of ones and zeros to you. And
Wirelessly being sent through the air.
yep, it really just
dude.
boggles the mind if you think about it. I mean, how are you going to transmit all that through the air? Well, they figured it out.
No, well, yeah, yeah. What's always uh blown my mind is that I'm doing everything without a wire to an extent.
Right.
Yeah, obviously the router, the modem, they got wires and stuff, but the fact that I'm wireless AirPods, what I'm saying going through here, going to the phone, going to the router, to the modem, 3,000 miles across the country in
Yep.
what, milliseconds?
Yep. Well,
And you
I'm
sending it right back.
yeah, I'm Etherneted all over the place. I mean,
Right.
n- granted, I'll see when I get the new router tomorrow how it's going to be. If I can run a gigabit wirelessly, that'll be freaking pretty neat. But
Yeah.
you still can't beat an Ethernet connection. I'm sorry,
Oh
hardwired.
no. But
Yeah.
it just always has boggled my mind and blown it up when I think about how basically everything I'm doing is being sent. I'm traveling through the air.
Yeah.
It's
Uh, just
sheesh.
wait until holographic calls come out, where you can literally be sitting next to me virtually.
Dude, this we're talking Jetsons,
Yeah. Oh,
Hanna-Barbera and the 60s Jetson stuff, man.
only thing that's missing is the flying cars and those
That is literally about it.
air tubes for elevators.
Yep. But you think about it. What did they have back then? A robot that could clean your house. Do we have
Roomba.
that now? No.
Mhm.
But you have a robot that can vacuum your house.
Yeah. And you
Video
have
calls,
video calls, watches with you can also call on and get video.
watches that you can call on. It's they talk about the guy who created The Simpsons being a freaking time traveler. How about Hanna-Barbera and what's his name there? Hanna-Barbera that created the Jetsons.
Right?
They
And
were
then
predicting the future in the 60s.
on the opposite end, you had the Flintstones, but yeah.
Right, but even then, the Flintstones were doing something basically in the same thing except the Stone Age. And in that show,
Yeah. I
they
remember,
had talking telephones.
yep. And they had ra- uh, electric razors. You put a bee in there and zzz,
Yeah,
and
I mean,
then let's see, with today's high gas prices, I don't think a full powered car maybe it may not be such a bad proposition.
they
Uh,
had to be rough on the feet.
feet, feet.
Feet. But yeah, I mean, just watch the Jetsons. It's amazing.
I know,
All
looking
that
back
crap
upon
came
it,
true.
it's funny, as we were talking about this whole journey, that's what I was flashing back to in my head. Look at where we're at today.
Like you said, minus the flying cars, we are living the Jetsons and living in outer space.
Yeah.
But we are living the Jetsons. The video calls, robots that clean your house, the watches. I don't know. Just it just ugh.
It's neat. For a technologist, it's really neat to see. Now, the next question. How far are they going to go with it? Because do you
What's the
want to
limit of your imagination?
never I'm talking about artificial intelligence. Is it going to overtake us one day with the speed to think as fast as a human brain can think? And I don't know. My biggest concern is that most of these jobs are going to get phased out.
Well, I mean, when you think about anything artificial, what's its limitation?
Power, emotion.
Well, there's no emotion. They can only simulate it. It's only real limitation is what we can make it.
I agree.
I mean, if you want, if you want to create some artificial intelligence in a robot, you can program it to do whatever you want. You can program it to never harm a human being. You can set rules to it, so it's limited to what you want it to be. But you
But if
better be damn careful about how you instruct it,
exactly,
because if it can find its own way to supersede it,
you're fucked.
you're screwed.
That's my only concern is how far are we gonna go? You know, because it's getting to the point where our phones can actually basically predict what we're gonna think.
Right. I mean, you got plenty of plenty of proof on things like Facebook and all the other garbage. All
Mm-hmm.
you have to do is walk down an aisle of a grocery store and that product pops up on your page.
I know.
I don't know.
For me, I just want something where yes, the data is aggregated. Yes, it's quick to get to, simple, but no more than that. Don't put it in my
Right.
face. If I want it, I'll seek it out.
Exactly.
Needed a router. Didn't need it to show up in my feed. I just went and clicked and got it. It'll be here
Yep.
tomorrow. You don't got to shove it in my face. But no, and this is it's these are just tools, guys. Nothing more. Much like your socket set, your drill, your saw, your hammer. They help you get the job done easier. That's all it is.
Indeed. Yeah, it's think about where we come from.
80, 86.
Semiconductors.
Yep.
And come on, how much does this come from the freaking Roswell crash?
You just stole a thought right out of my head. Lasers and semiconductors, advanced alloys. Yeah.
Stealth.
Technology. Yeah. Yep.
It won't surprise me to find out that they're still freaking dissecting stuff from that initial
Yeah. Sure.
incident.
I mean, you're talking, if you believe the narrative, which I tend to do, civilization that are multi thousands of years ahead of us. So why, it was a gift. I mean, now
Yeah.
we got fiber optics. Now, I'm transmitting this signal to you over light waves at 1,000
Right.
bits, at 1 billion bits a second. It's amazing.
It's mind blowing. When you really think about everything, it's mind blowing.
Like I was telling you, I had the show uploaded in 26 seconds last week.
Yeah. What do you want, buddy?
But
I
nothing.
don't know, man. This might have to be like a two-part
Yeah.
episode, maybe
Nothing.
not back to back, but
Nothing beats the good old 56K modem days, though.
yeah.
When you hear that little bong, bong,
Bong, bong.
you knew you were going at full tilt.
Yeah.
But
For
man,
phone modem, that's about as
I
that was the
tell
best
you
it
what,
got.
I miss popping on and popping into those fourth day free agent news groups.
Oh yeah. Lots of stuff in there.
Oh, some good, some bad, but whatever you wanted.
Yeah. But yeah, it's I don't know, man. It's amazing where we're at now
Yeah.
and what's gonna come.
Um, my research is going to indicate things on levels that'll blow your brain, basically.
Well, every time I think about this stuff, my mind's basically blown anyway, so why not some more?
You know, holographic phones, literally just out of thin air shows up.
Yep.
Hypersonic travel can be anywhere in
Mm,
minutes.
that's gonna be the best part.
Yeah, you can be here for Zilney can go back home for dinner with the kids.
Ooh, who the hell needs dinner after that?
We're
Oh
ready for you.
man.
Don't worry.
Oh yeah.
But
Gotta buy tickets pretty soon.
yeah,
But yeah, the dog is starting to get restless, and I think it's gonna be pretty close to time to wrap it up.
yep. It is. It's time to call it. I'm getting tired. It's almost midnight here, which is making almost 3 o'clock in the morning there. Gee.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I
anyway,
could probably go like another half hour, but I know he's
oh,
starting to get really rambunctious. So
yeah. And my, like I said earlier, cocktail is really kicking in. I'm getting ready to go to bed. So, all right, guys, listen, we're gonna call it. You guys have a wonderful night. I forgot to mention, you can also reach me on my True Social account at abos12 if you're so interested. Um, it's right here. If you're on it, reach out. Follow me. I'll follow you back, and should get it out there. Share it out there. But definitely, please leave us comments in our email
yeah,
and in our Facebook group. Find us there as well. We are all family. We are all one. As I always say, give everybody a hug and a kiss, especially your kids. Nurture them. Um, teach them what's right every day. Only you
yeah.
guys can best as parents.
When it comes to our show, please watch, like, share, comment,
Let's grow.
subscribe,
Let's
join
grow
the
this.
Facebook group. That'd be the best thing you can all do for us.
Yep. Let's grow this baby.
Yeah, I like
But
the idea of that.
we planted the seed. Okay. We
No,
gotta
let's
start.
nurture it.
We gotta nurture and start sprouting and growing the stalk and the leaves, and make it very educational for everybody.
Definitely.
Anyway, with that, we're gonna call it, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
All right, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the special guest of the dog, and good old Samson here is way too rambunctious for me at this time of night.
Well, listen, you go take them potty, and I'll talk to you next week, and we'll see you guys soon.
All right, have a good night, man.
All right, you too, buddy.
Have a good week, everybody.
Yeah, you guys too. Enjoy yourselves. Be safe out there.
All right, peace out.
Yeah, peace out, guys.